All right, if you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Friday on Enterprise Television. And to our main conversation for today, we're so excited and delighted to be celebrating World Press Freedom Day, a day for journalists, a day for media professionals and enthusiasts. And this year's theme of World Press Freedom Day is a press for the planet, journalism in the face of environmental crisis. And there's no other to do justice better on this subject matter than Emeka Madunago. He is a journalist and also a public affairs commentator. Good morning,
Thank
Emeka.
you. Good morning.
Welcome to World Press Freedom Day.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday too.
Thank God it's Friday too. Yes, exactly. So let's talk about the World Press Freedom Day. And just like we did say, this year's theme is a press for the planet. A couple of months back, we had COP28, where we had, dignitaries from different parts of the world come together to discuss about our planet. And of course, they hadn't have done that without the presence of journalists and media people who to create awareness on that particular subject matter. Now, the question is, how far do you think journalists should go in promoting the need for us to respect the universe, especially the planet Earth we live in today?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, journalists have a natural duty by their professional calling to speak up on issues that affect the planet, and the fauna, the flora, and the people that live therein. So on this year's World Press Freedom Day, it highlights that, of course, that journalism should promote, a more livable planet, such that the earth can serve all of us. That journalism is the face, for environmental issues. There are people who still live in denial of climate change. Yeah, they live in denial of climate change. They live in denial of crisis, accentuated by improper environmental practices. But be that as it may, journalists must do the job of delivering good and quality journalism on environmental issues and other areas.
All right. So at a time when there are kickbacks and especially the West, trying all they can to ensure that they achieve their ends. When the world is crying for a greener world, some Western countries or first world countries are still on the desire to excavate the earth and of course release elements that are dangerous to our planet. In that particular case, how do you think journalists can better handle such issues, knowing that the people they are dealing with are people who have the carrot and can decide what the narrative in this media?
Yeah, you see, journalists daily come up against, big corporations, influential governments, wealthy governments, who do not sincerely care about, the health of the planet, of the health of the environment. And so even though they make very sweet speeches, laudable speeches and try to make it look like, oh, they care about the world, they care about the earth. But in reality, there are certain practices that do not engender, the goal of a more livable planet. And that is a major challenge for journalism. For instance, we come home to the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road Project. The other day when the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, briefed the media on, certain developments concerning the project, a journalist, Lila Johnson, asked him to share with journalists present the copies of the interim and final environmental impact assessment. And he did all he could to run away from the question. He even introduced theatrics into it. And we often forget that, anybody who watched how the tsunami raged in, 2006 and devastated some countries will know that anything that you do which, significantly impacts the environment, must necessarily attract the hard questions. We cannot continue to pretend that we can do what we like and get away with it. So you now find out that indiscriminate waste disposal has become a major problem, a major challenge, to livable environments. Oil spillage, dredging, illegal logging, felling of trees, overfishing. There are countries and corporations that engage in overfishing, as if they want to empty the marine space of all that is in it. Overfishing and a lot of other practices. Environmental pollution, noise pollution, smoke, pollution for smoke. And then the industry release of greenhouse gases into the environment. All of these things are issues that challenge the courage of journalists across the world to demand justice for people, communities suffering from the effects of these unwholesome practices.
All right, so while we talk about effects and journalists around the world, going through, bottlenecks in their reportage, now let's come back home to Nigeria. One thing we are very guilty of course, is fossil fuel emission. Right now in Nigeria, there's petroleum scarcity, which means there's a greater demand of fossil fuel in petroleum, than even the supply is. And what that means is we'll be experiencing a larger amount of fossil fuel emission, days going forward. The question is, do you think our journalists, have what it takes to talk about these issues and make those in authority take responsibility?
Yeah, well, yes, our journalists have what it takes to do that, and they have been doing it. You see, in an era of environment, of petrol scarcity, pardon me, it brings excruciating pain to people, puts people into agony. But there is a sort of relief it brings to the environment because it means lesser environmental pollution. It means the environment can, if you permit me to use this word, can breathe better. It means that human beings can breathe better air. You see the world, some parts of the world have set 2035 as the date for, to stop the use of, fossil fuels in powering vehicles. So you can see the frenzied push towards electric vehicles, while some countries like Nigeria are talking of using CNG, compressed natural gas.
But it's still fossil fuel emission.
But yes, it is, but to a lesser degree. Yes, to a lesser degree. But we must quickly note that even the environment, even the electric vehicles also contribute to environmental pollution and degradation.
Yeah, but
because you use lithium, and those communities close to lithium sites are impacted. I just saw the governor of one state, who was asking investors to come and take advantage of the huge lithium deposits in his state.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, has it occurred to anybody to tell this governor that he should think beyond just profits rolling in? That in trying to engender development, you must also think about the impact on the environment. We must ensure responsible environmental practices.
Exactly.
But if you just talk about money, then look to the Niger Delta. Look in the direction of the Niger Delta, where where oil exploration since 1956, in Oloibiri has severely damaged the environment. Look at the cases of cancer in the Niger Delta. Look at, you can't get, good water to drink. The air is, polluted, they say, from illegal refineries. But ordinarily, look at the water, look at the environment. The people of the Niger Delta have been severely impacted. And then that should be at the back of anybody's mind when you're talking about, just exploiting natural resources. You find certain nations have placed a cap. A nation like Bhutan just, wants people to come and see the beauty of his environment and enjoy that beauty. You pay, of course, to enjoy it. There are nations that are capping the exploitation of their natural resources, like Nigeria. Some years ago, then President Muhammadu Buhari, agreed to cap, coal exploration in Nigeria. So when we look at all of these things, while we're looking for alternatives, we must always have it at the back of our minds that the environment must be well taken care of. And it's a duty of journalists to push the agenda of a livable planet.
All right. So, talking about pushing the agenda, please quickly speak to the safety of journalists, even as they speak to the agenda of a good environment and protecting our world. Especially, you gave examples of the Niger Delta. So, tell us or speak to us about safety of journalists pushing this agenda and ensuring that awareness is created to save our world.
It's unfortunate that attacks on journalists still continue. And reporting environmental issues is not a piece of cake. It's a dangerous area that could pitch any journalist against governments, against corporations, against even the people whom you're trying to help with your reports. Somebody could incite the people to say, no, this person is an enemy. He's working for so and so.
It's an opposition.
He's trying to bring, just opposition, but that is, they could incite people to say, that this journalist is working for so and so organizations that are trying to bring in people to take over your land. And of course, all over the world, people don't want to hear that word, take over their land. You can see, for instance, yesterday, a community in Lagos State, Okwaja, already told the Minister of Works that they won't allow the coastal road to pass through their area. That will mean wiping them off. So, yesterday I had a heated argument with some journalists, some fellow journalists, and I was disappointed at their comments that, yes, if the government wants it, so be it. And I said, okay, when government is unable to provide certain services, why do you groan? Why not just come out and take it? Even if it takes your life, even if it takes the lives of members of your family, even if it causes you so much pain, why do you complain? That you have to look beyond. Oh, you're telling me that somebody, lost some properties and that he said it was a sacrifice. I said, yes. He might come out to say that before the cameras. But deep down, maybe he has been, who knows if he has been compelled to come and say it. Now, he may not be, definitely not a native of the area. So all he just has, the attachment he just has, is just about the money he invested, which maybe if his properties are insured, he will get paid for losing his property.
But of course, the community where
but those who are native to the area, to the part, you see this coastal road has been muted since a very long time. But why have successive governments delayed in implementing it? Because it's going to wipe out whole communities from Lagos to Calabar. And there is, the tendency, like somebody once said, I was discussing with somebody, who lives abroad. And I was saying, why is it that Western nations, embrace the sea, embrace the coast, while, in Africa, we just hang around the coast, but we don't make efforts to explore the sea and all that is in it. So, I was saying, well, it is because, the West has a very adventurous nature, which I didn't agree with. I just felt that, we should be more interested and invested in environmental, in keeping the environment safe. So, all in all, the world must do more to protect journalists. The world must do more to highlight the courageous efforts of journalists in fighting to protect the environment.
Yes, definitely. Just like Emeka did say, when it comes to issues of our world and our planet, we cannot oversee, the things that are expected of us as a people, because the truth remains that we only have one world, we only have one planet. And when we do not take responsibility and do what we need to do to protect it, then we might not have a world to live in. Thank you so very much, Emeka Maldonado, for being part of our show today. And love to say thank you also for taking our time to be part of our show. Please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetv.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV S7. On behalf of the entire team, I am Henry Igwe. Thank you for watching and have yourself a wonderful day. Bye-bye from us.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.